body. I'm like, great, do it again. Because then all of a sudden we start having more malleable access, right, to the information. And when you do this, you can start tapping into information that is feeding through you, through the quantum field, through multiple different realms, realities, timelines, and dimensions. And when you do this, you start getting greater levels of intuition. You start receiving more knowledge. You start sitting in that business meeting with everyone else, and all of a sudden, you have this wild idea. And you're like, I just have to share this. And it ends up making the company millions of dollars. And everyone's like, where did that come from? It didn't come from your mind and something you learned 10 years ago. It came from full and complete access through your multi-dimensional awareness. So here's how we do this. You must go beyond what you perceive to be the now. You must go beyond what you perceive to be your 3D physical reality. And you do this by starting to activate what I call your multi-dimensional senses. So everyone has all of their senses, their taste, their smell, their touch, all of that. And who here has had an experience where they felt something, but it wasn't there? Goosebumps, energy, felt like someone walked past you, but no one did. Who's heard something that just wasn't there, but it was? Who's seen something that just wasn't there, but it was? So we all have our multidimensional sensory body. It's more active in some people than others. And if you're able to have your awareness focus on it and have an intention that you would like more access to this, then it generally starts opening up a little more. So what you can do in any of your manifestation rituals and practices, sit down, close your eyes, put your hands out, and simply request that your multi-dimensional sensory body comes online. And then simply notice what you notice without trying to give it meaning. Without the mind trying to say, it means this, it means that. If people come all the time, Regan, in your activation, I saw this red horse, and it was running left, and then it connected with this guy that was saying, what does that mean? And I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. What's important is that you saw it. You had an access point through your multidimensional senses. Celebrate that. Say yes to that. Ask for more of that. And the more you open it, the more you will attune your consciousness to receiving useful information. Where all of a sudden you're sitting there in your relationship with your partner and you see something and then you just know, this is something I need to tell them right now. And it changes their life. And you start having these moments over and over and over again. But this request for activating the multidimensional senses and then practicing it must come from you. And this is something that you can go through on a daily basis. And always ask your system, what do I notice that's different? You guys in the Quest and in the Manifestation Mastery know I'm obsessed with this question. What do I notice that is different? Because our system is conditioned to look for what is the same and copy-paste it into our reality. We're taking our past and we're looking for the sameness and we're copying it into the future, and then we're creating the same life. If we want a different illusion of this reality, if we want to recode this matrix into something so big and so bright and so shiny and so powerful that everyone goes like, whoa, look at your life, we must be looking for the pieces that are different. We must be noticing them without needing it to mean something through the mind. And the more that we notice what is different, and we go, I feel a little different right now. I saw that. That's a little different. What does it mean? It doesn't matter. The more the quantum field starts giving you more things that are different, including your manifestations. So as you activate your multidimensional senses, naturally, you start opening up portals, gateways, and access points to begin to access your multidimensional support. You are so protected, you are so guided, and you are so supported. And if you are running a story that you don't have guides, or you don't have support, or you have no connection to your ancestors, or it's just little you in this life right now, go back a few slides. I'm going to give you guys these slides, by the way, if you would like them. And go back and realize that, okay, I'm just in the illusion of separation. If that illusion of separation completely dissolves away, well then that would mean that we have full and complete access to all information across every single realm, reality, and dimension, across time and space, yes? So if that's the case, are you asking for the support? Are you choosing to connect with the support? Every single day, are you simply sitting there saying, Please connect now to beings of light of the highest vibration, divinely assigned to support me in my manifestation. You're asking for that? I mean, when I just started asking in the morning, like, hey, guidance, can you help me? I was like, I'm so supported in my life. All these miracles keep happening. Everyone's showing up. Everyone wants to help me. What is going on? I'm like, oh, I started asking for that. It's interesting. So through the observer effect of my own consciousness, of simply perceiving that I would have more access to even more support, somehow started receiving quite a lot of support, and all of you have this available to you right now. So when you do that, and when you are so supported and so guided, and you're accessing all of this deep information, naturally, very naturally, you start gaining an even deeper access point to your highest essence, and we could also call it to your true quantum self. So we're about to go a layer deeper. You guys good? Woo! Okay. I know I'm pushing the boundaries here, but I feel you with me. So there is a version of you across time and space that has already manifested exactly the reality that you desire. We know this because we feel it, we desire it, we want it, and we already know that that is our soul speaking through us saying, hey, there's a version of you out there that's already manifested that's already living into that reality. And so if we're here now, what most people do is they say, well, like I'm just going to gradually wait for my life to evolve, and then hopefully maybe one day, someday, I'll manifest what I want. And then there's people like you and me here in this room who are like, okay, well, let's recap on a few things. We know that everything is information. We know that we're working through the illusionary matrix of our reality, which is a reflection of our own internal quantum blueprint, encoded with all of that code, and we can rewrite that code. We also know that everything is not separate, and it's divinely intertwined and interconnected. And we also know that we have quantum entanglement that can connect us with particles no matter how far out, non-locally in the future. It doesn't matter about the distance. We know that we can connect with that information, which is all it is. And we know that that information can not just inform the information now, but actually entangle with it, fuse and become one with it. So if that's the case, why could we not connect to the highest version of ourselves that has already manifested the life that we desire? Why could we not have that version of ourselves not just inform us here now and receive some guidance, but actually become it now? Why could we not? And so we are always connected to our highest self. I hear some people saying like, I'm really working on trying to connect with my highest self. I'm like, oh, you're actually already connected. There's actually nothing you need to do other than be aware of that connection. And so when you're aware of that connection and you surrender to it and you realize that your highest essence is literally one thought away, one intention away. Yes, I could sit you down and we could go through a whole hour process of connecting with your highest self. That's cool, but you don't need me. You could sit down now and attend. I choose to connect with my highest essence. The connection is already there, but are you using it? And when you do use it, are you consciously using quantum entanglement to entangle with your highest essence? Again, not just to import the information from your highest self, but become that version of you right here, right now. I said this on the mastery program the other day. It's not your higher self, because that could be next week. Your highest self. Let's go to that iteration right before you fold into God, Spirit, the universe, but that moment where you don't even have an identity anymore. Right before there, your highest iteration of the highest frequency of your consciousness. Let's go there. Yes?
Yes.
And embody that frequency. And so when you connect through the consciousness of your decoding system, you connect with your highest essence, you can ask, okay, how does this version of me walk? How do they talk? How do they think? How do they act? What do they boldly say yes to? What do they really boldly say no to? How do they move their body? What do they eat? How much water do they drink? What kind of people do they hang around? I want to know the details. Now feel the difference. Most people with manifestation are sitting there going, okay, let me think about my highest self. Okay, how would that, or my higher self, how would that be? okay, I guess they're like this and they're like that. They're trying from their mind, through the limitations of the ego, of how they perceive themselves currently to be, to write that out. But what I want all of you to do is go beyond that and connect with your highest essence and surrender to the download of the information coming through you that is you. And as this happens, yes, you might get information. Okay, I walk and talk and think and act like that. Wow, my highest self is embodying this way. They dress like that. They move like that. You can get all of that. But beyond that, what should happen is you should have a vibrational frequency that wakes up in your system. There should be something that begins to feel a little bit different, a little bit more awake, a little bit more alive. And again, your highest essence, you have full and complete access right now. I'm not standing here as the version of Regan today. Before I walk out on the stage, I command my highest self to come through my system. Because why would I not? When we have full and complete access. And so, something very interesting starts to happen, and this is very advanced manifestation, but when you really connect with your highest essence and you start importing this information and you start nourishing this fusion of this relationship of really not just knowing this is how my highest self would be, but you start to be it, and you start to walk into a room and you start to embody that frequency and actually make choices and decisions from this place. You start allowing your highest self to actually manifest through you. So what if, just what if, you started actually daily saying, I intend that my highest self creates my manifestations in my life and in my reality? What if you were manifesting the intentions from your highest self?